Show.
No, not that. Anything but that. Oh my God. All right, now let me check that. Oh, Jesus. Come on. Okay, great. It's just absolutely wonderful. All right, I'm going to draw pictures while playing videos I already did. Because if I don't do it, I never will. That's great, isn't it? All right. Gee, I hope this works. And it's not going to like that. There we are. Start over. Thank you. That's much better. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so, Yeah, it's standard. It's what happens. You mean to tell me you can't hear the video? What the hell? It's set up to go out. Can you hear it now? Oh, now you can hear it. You mean you can hear me? Can you hear the video? Good Lord. Okay, it's not working at all. God. Why doesn't it work? I don't understand this. It did it last time. It's playing out. It is monitor output. Yeah. All right. Enough of that. That ain't gonna work. God. Oh boy, am I pissed. um. I mean, that was the bulk of the show. I mean, I guess I could just do the doodles and go with that. I don't know. You know, you try to do stuff and I'm running out of time. I guess I can try to upload it directly to EV I just did something similar. I've done this before. And it just worked. You know? And now it's just going to do this to me. I guess I got to do private videos ahead. That's even more time. Just to make sure everything works. Holy crap. Now, the other thing, see, I guess it's just as well I didn't go through because I thought, hey, you know, you can just do all this through OBS and it'll be cool. And the super tip should work through it and all that. And, but no, it won't. Well, you don't have to be sorry, no deck. It ain't nothing to do with you. I don't understand because this, uh, this worked. I've done it a couple of times now, and then now it doesn't. I don't know. It's it always seems to be with EV Mux though. The audio, just doesn't always work. At least you can hear me talking, live. So I was going to play these, they'll be broken up into regular Nailsin ratings videos and all the usual, but this is kind of like a run through preview where I can just draw and concentrate on that without having to babble about whatever and stuff like that. Then there's a couple of other little late breaking things, so I thought, oh well, I'll do those live and just BS about it, and then that'll make a show, and then I'll say goodnight and take off. Well, the best laid plans, and all that razzmatazz. So it's taking forever to load up to EV Mux. At least that way it'll, it should play. I don't know. Anyway, while I was getting things together, I caught a bit of Melton's show. I mean, it was already over, but I just went through it here and there, and he did a segment on Haley, and it was all this stuff about, from Pretty Antisocial and Haley getting tired of Dabbleverse and stuff like that. So I thought, hey, I would try to draw a picture here. I didn't really do that great of a job here. Maybe the Photoshop color can fix it. But it was just the idea, hey, she's exasperated and her hands go up. Not really, but, it's funnier if you go that way. I think she'll be fine. But anyway, I just, that was the first little inspiration for the drawing, And then I was like, well, do I put the headphones in or do I leave them off? You usually see her with the headphones, and then she's got her hair all onto the other side. And I really didn't do that justice either. This is terrible. I really screwed up. Damn it. Well, now I'm all upset. So I'll move on to the next one. I don't know. Do I even bother with the MCU thing? Well, now I got to go to the, what do you call it? The super tip layer, the pro scenes or whatever, and then add these little items to it. All right, that should go there. I don't know why everything's slowing down. That's another problem that's happening. Now, so I'll put it in here and hopefully, that'll work. It may not. You understand. Boy, it's really giving me a no, that's not what it's supposed to do. See, I thought, oh man, I got it all set up. It's going to be great and cool and so impressive. And then, no, you don't get that. You don't get that. Why the hell? There we go. That's good. It takes a while to figure out which one's which and all that razzmatazz. All right. You got to be able to stop it. There we go. That should work. But I don't know that I can't fast forward through it. Well, no one got to hear it, so I guess we'll start over. Good Lord. Oh boy. When you're in the cult, you can hear you this. Cannot deviate from any of its, I don't know, dogma, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's kind of hard to do it because they make it up as they go along and it contradicts itself and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, see, apparently, a lot of people suspected that Pedro Pascal is gay, I mean, sure, there is that characters he's played and stuff. But then after seeing him dance around with the rainbow, stick and all that, that's saying, I can do it in this. I can so fast forward. Rest of the film, apparently. Well, all right, but this new boyfriend of his is put. All right, let me see if that works. Yeah, okay, you're hearing that, so that'll work. Is potentially a Zionist. All right, so let me back it up so you can get the idea. Boy, when you're in the cult, apologies all around. You cannot deviate from any of its, I don't know, dogma, something like that. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's kind of hard to do it because they make it up as they go along and it contradicts itself and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, see, apparently, a lot of people suspected that Pedro Pascal is gay, I mean, sure, he's characters he's played and stuff, but then after seeing him dance around with the rainbow, stick and all that, So, but the leftist cult, they would have no problem with that whatsoever, except it's kind of old hat and everything. But nevertheless, that's fine. However, apparently, this new boyfriend of his is potentially a Zionist. So, So apparently, Pedro Pascal fans revolt. And they shut down a major fan page over gay Zionist boyfriend rumor. So you see, it could be two rumors at once. Is this guy his boyfriend? Is the guy actually a Zionist? See, it's that sort of thing. Anyway, Pedro Pascal is trending online after a fan account dedicated to the actor announced it is pausing activity amid backlash over rumors about his personal life. The controversy centers, which is interesting because, it's like, it's just about what you think he's a great actor, Oh, no. The controversy centers on speculation that Pascal may be dating Argentine designer Rafael Olera. The rumors spread on social media after photos surfaced showing the two spending time together publicly. Okay. A prominent Pascal fan page on X at Acervopedrito said it would temporarily stop posting about the actor after claiming the situation appeared hypocritical based on Pascal's past political activism. Yeah, the flames are flaming Anyway, the fan account posted a statement explaining its decision. The message, originally written in Portuguese, claimed Pascal, I was about to say Pedro, but Pascal was supposedly dating a Zionist and had also been seen dining at a restaurant that allegedly donates money to Israel. Well, case closed, The account argued that the situation conflicted with Pascal's previous public support for Palestine and activism related to Middle East issues. Yeah, I'm sure he's a big expert and everything. As a fan page and not a cult. Sure, no. We don't have the mental health that, Pedro might have a little disagreement. Yeah. No. Mental health to continue with the collection for now. Was it adding that the admins would be taking a hiatus? They need a break for their, mental health. Shortly after the message circulated online, the account made its profile private. Yeah, because it's all kinds of stupid. So I guess that's the boyfriend, and there's pay. Well, boy, they do, yeah, I don't know. He seems, what do you mean? Anyway, social media users began speculating about Pascal's relationship status after he was spotted spending time with Argentine designer Rafael Olera in New York. Photos circulating online appeared to show Pascal and Olera walking together and interacting closely, which fueled rumors that the two could be romantically involved. Some users on social media also began accusing Olera of holding pro-Israel or Zionist views, though those claims remain unverified. So you see, again, we got two rumors going at once. I mean, the picture, but do we know anything about Olera? Is he an out homosexual? Because as far as I know, Pedro hasn't even fessed up on anything like that. Is that a wedding band on his hand? Did the two elope? Anyway, neither Pascal nor Olera has publicly commented on the rumors or addressed the controversy. Because there probably isn't a whole lot to it. You could just not say anything and maybe it'll go away, but people really are obsessed with, Zionism and all that. The reaction highlights how political issues have increasingly spilled into celebrity fandoms online. Well, yeah, but he fit into it. He keeps jumping on this one and that one like he's some stalwart champion of all kinds of causes and whatnot, when in the end, he's just an actor. Anyway, Pascal has previously been outspoken about political and social issues, including LGBTQ. Oh, you forgot the IA+. Anyway, issues and support for Palestine, which are those are actually in conflict, but whatever. Because of that, some fans argued the rumors surrounding Alara conflict with the positions the actor has expressed in the past. Others pushed back on the criticism, pointing out that the details surrounding Pascal's relationship with Alara with the designer's political views remain unclear. Yeah. Nothing's been substantiated, really. I mean, the picture, But even that, okay, maybe the two are gay and they're, having a time of it and all that. But still, you haven't, at least it's just this article, but I don't know that they've established anything about this Raphael guy being a hardcore Zionist. And then they said, well, they were in Argentina and they went to some restaurant that donates money to Israel. So that really pissed them off. Well, did they know that? If they got a problem with it? And have you really established that? And ultimately, so what? But like he's really anti-Israel. Is that the deal that he's? I don't keep up with what these actors think and all that sort of crap. But and so now he's, but Raphael is really sexy to him, so he turns his back on these core beliefs and all that sort of thing. Much ado about nothing, really. But again, you put yourself out there as this super duper pooper scooper activist, and then the slightest change or, I think differently on this particular issue or whatever, which he hasn't really done that either, but you're dating a man apparently who may or may not, this is stupid. But you dance with that crowd. Don't be surprised when eventually they come for you. They always eat their own. There we go. We got through that one. All right. This should be a foregone conclusion, but boy, how do you make it back from the woke era and try to assure everybody you're not going to beat them over the head with a woke mallet and all that sort of stuff? You don't want one whiff of wokeism in your film. So certain basic elements are things you need to avoid, like, say, race swapping, gender swapping, sexuality swapping, crap like that. You just can't do that. If you do, even though the rest of the film is, it's pretty clever and it's got a great plot and all that stuff, won't matter. The audience will not show up. They're done with this. So this has been something that's been tossed around for a while. Would seem unlikely since Giancarlo Esposito already played a Marvel character in the Captain America Brave New World movie. So, but then, of course, hey, look, reboot shenanigans after Secret Wars. Who the hell knows? So anyway, the rumor of him playing Professor X has sprung up again, apparently. So rumors about who will play Professor X in Marvel Studios' upcoming X-Men reboot are once again making the rounds, with a new claim going viral on X that Giancarlo Esposito is in talks for the role. However, the rumor appears to be nothing new and looks to be the same speculation that has circulated for a while about the Breaking Bad and the Mandalorian actor potentially playing Charles Xavier. Okay. Posts spreading across X claim Esposito is reportedly in talks with Marvel Studios to portray Professor X. But similar reports have been floating around for quite some time. Esposito himself has previously confirmed he has spoken with Marvel about possible roles. Yeah, he got one. He was Sidewinder in Captain Falcon, Captain America. So at one point, Esposito even openly said he would be interested in playing Xavier, telling fans the character is someone he believes he could really excel at. That doesn't mean the rumor is accurate today, though, as Marvel Studios has never officially announced casting for its MCU version of the X-Men. Also recall that Marvel cast Esposito as Sidewinder in Captain America Brave New World. Yes, that's right. They did. And they didn't put him in any kind of special makeup or mask or anything. It's just Esposito walking around with a rifle, you know? So these guys were considered to, hey, look, yeah, you think Denzel Washington would go. Denzel Washington is going to be in the next Black Panther movie. He's already been cast in that. So you can take him out of the fan art too now. Esposito's speculation is just one of many rumors tied to Marvel's upcoming mutant reboot. Previous reports have suggested Marvel may be looking at a wide range of actors for major roles, including rumors involving Coleman Domingo for Professor X, and other surprising names being floated online. Lawrence Fishburne has even chimed in about playing Xavier. Other speculation has included Daniel Day-Lewis, not a chance. Bryan Cranston, I doubt it. Cynthia Erivo. Well, look, a couple of years ago, absolutely they would have done it. Hunter Schafer for Mystique, I believe. Well, you know, shapeshifter and everything. Multiple people could play Mystique, so... Those rumors highlight how unclear, at least to fans, Marvel's plans still are for its eventual X-Men lineup. I'm pretty sure we know who Jean Grey's going to be. Anyway, Marvel Studios have not revealed official casting for the MCU's X-Men yet. The most recent rumors point to Sadie Sink playing Jean Grey. Yeah, and Hugh Jackman sticking around as Wolverine. Because what are you going to do? Kevin Feige has confirmed a new Age of Mutants kicks off after Secret Wars. Yep, the studio is currently leaning heavily into multiverse storytelling with actors from the Fox X-Men movies, including Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, expected to appear again in Avengers Doomsday and probably die in it. That'll be it for them. I think only Wolverine and Deadpool survived that. Anyway, Marvel launches its own New Mutant era. That likely means the MCU's permanent X-Men cast won't be finalized until after the multiverse saga wraps up. Right. Until then, rumors like Giancarlo Esposito, Professor X claim will probably continue popping up. Yeah, I just don't think there's anything to it anymore. Will there be a black man playing the role? It could still be, but again, I'm telling you, I don't care how good it is. I don't care how good of an actor he is. That's great and all. There's black characters for him to play. There's a lot. You know, do something with that. You know, be creative like you're supposed to be. But anything, however unfair, in some cases it could be unfair. A whiff of wokeness. Your movie is dead on arrival. Hey, who's the best Marvel sidekick? I don't know. Falcon, yeah, I guess, but Bucky Barnes but it was all rather brief. I guess you go with Falcon. Let's see what that does. I don't know. Oh well, to be continued, but you know, I'm probably right. Probably Bucky wins it. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Again, whiff of wokeness. Sorry, pal. Not gonna work. Timothy Chalamet, I guess, rumored for comic book roll. Marvel's Nova. So here we are once again at Matt McCloy's Cosmic Book News. And Matt McCloy, just based on a lot of his articles, is a big Nova fan and the cosmic characters of Marvel. And so every time something like he's really hoping for it, but yeah, be careful what you wish for. It could be that saying. So
Crap.
yes, there's rumors that Chalamet, there's talks with him or something like that. It could be a DC project. You just don't know. But anyway, this is, I suppose, Cosmic Book News take on what might be possible here. So a new rumor making the rounds online claims Timothée Chalamet may finally be heading to the comic book movie genre. According to Scooper, My Time to Shine Hello on X, Chalamet is said to be in talks for a comic book role. The rumor doesn't name the specific character, but it could very well be possible that the role could involve Marvel's Nova. Could be, might be, or not at all. Marvel Studios has previously been developing a Nova project for DP. However, it seems the project has been placed on the back burner due to cost concerns. Yeah, I guess so, because all the previous shows only cost them money. It didn't make any. That's a problem. A cosmic-heavy Nova show would require a large budget for visual effects and world building. Because of that, it's possible Marvel could pivot the character to a feature film instead of a streaming series. Yeah, that's an idea. Or they could do what DCU's doing and just turn it into some sort of True Detective show. Take away all the special effects and powers, And maybe you'll see the helmet like on the nightstand in the character's motel room or something. Anyway, if that happens, someone like Chalamet would make sense as a big name lead to anchor a new cosmic franchise. For the MCU, Marvel Comics may also be laying the groundwork for Nova's return. They've done that a time or two in the comics. It doesn't always land, and they don't really pay attention to the comics all that much anymore. But anyway, Jonathan Hickman recently launched a new Marvel cosmic event, Imperial. Admittedly, not very good. As McCloy said before, Hickman is Marvel's go-to guy for adapting their ideas to the comics. Yeah, I mean, he's their best writer. And he'd be even better if he finished stuff. But he doesn't know. He's not a home run champion or anything like that. Simple proof of this is that Marvel recently announced Hickman on the upcoming Spider-Man, Punisher, and Hulk series, which lands right in time with Spider-Man Brand New Day. Yeah, that's the comic books trying to capitalize on the movie. It's not the other way around, that kind of thing. Hickman has also worked on various Avengers and X-Men stories, all because of the MCU. Plus, his Secret Wars is the big, inspiration for Doomsday and Secret Wars movies. So anyway, if Marvel Comics is pushing Nova, that likely means he's coming to the MCU. Yeah, they teased him and hinted at him, with Guardians of the Galaxy. And it seems like they could have spun something out of that. And maybe they were going to, but the whole scandal with James Gunn getting fired and everything, I think, squashed that for a while anyway. They could revisit it, So the MCU may have already laid the groundwork for Nova. In Avengers Infinity War, it's revealed that Thanos destroyed Xandar to obtain the Power Stone. Xandar is the home world of the Nova Corps in the Marvel Universe. That destruction could easily be used to introduce Richard Rider. Yes, I know, but that's his name. What are you going to do? Richard Rider as the last surviving Nova, a storyline similar to the classic Annihilation comic book event from 2 decades ago. This way, they could also avoid going with the origin story for Richard Rider, which is basically a take on Green Lantern and Spider-Man. Yeah, it's as if Peter Parker had gotten a Green Lantern ring. Instead, he becomes a part of the Nova Corps, and his name's Richard Rider. So you get the deal. Anyway, various rumors have also claimed Marvel is interested in adapting elements of Annihilation for the MCU, potentially introducing the Cosmic and Fantastic Four villain Annihilus. Well, now that they've established their Fantastic Four, the movie that bombed, so I don't know. Anyway, if Nova does enter the MCU, it could open the door to more cosmic heroes. Quasar, the Cosmic Avenger Wendell Vaughn, would be a natural addition to that side of the universe. McCloy previously floated the idea of Austin Butler, and even Logan Paul has thrown his name into the mix to play Quasar. My advice to Feige, don't go with the woke Phyla version or the woke Nova that killed the comics. Yeah, despite the guy's name, Richard Rider, you're stuck with that version. You know, you would think, you know, what are you going to do? You know, they didn't think of that at the time, you know, so you're kind of stuck. But anyway, for now, the Chalamet rumor remains unconfirmed. But following Secret Wars, the MCU may go in cosmic in a bigger and better way. Well, this is where I disagree. I mean, this is all possible. I think there was some interest in doing that. And again, I think the James Gunn mess kind of ruined that. And it might have been a direction for them after Endgame that might have been at least some parts of the MCU would be doing better. But I doubt it. They were so wokeified. It wasn't possible. But nevertheless, it could be a possibility. However, I think center stage and their big push will be the X-Men. Now that the two can cross over, there's Cosmic Adventures for the X-Men, and you can reintroduce some of these people. And what happened to Xandar, they could weave that into it, provided that all remains the canon after something like Secret Wars, which is absolutely rebooting it. You know, I mean, because everything, they're going to lose in Doomsday, you understand. And the entire multiverse will collapse into one big planet. Yeah, at least that's how the Hickman Secret Wars started. So if that's the case, what survives and comes back? For the most part, the Marvel Universe was restored after that. But then the woke era really began after that as well. Now, they've already had their woke period for MCU, and you can see the results. So, you know, provided any of this survives, yeah, I suppose, yeah, a Nova project. But that's really down the road. I mean, unless they're going to hurry up and put together a Nova film at the same time as X-Men is going. It's pretty ballsy to do that at the outset, you know, to already be in talks with someone like Timothée Chalamet. Yeah. When odds are, he might be looking for a DC role. Maybe even Dick Grayson. If such a thing were to happen. It could be. He could be introduced as, you know, Richard Grayson. In Matt Reeves' The Batman. Maybe something of that nature occurs. Because I don't know that we're ever going to get a DCU Batman if the DCU can last long enough for something like that to occur. But it could be something of that nature. If anything, it's just a rumor. You know. But no doubt there's interest in him for these roles. And but with the X-Men taking center stage, I'm not so certain that a full-on push for an adjacent cosmic Marvel Universe storyline is in the offing just yet. Be a little soon. And to say, hey, Timothy, hope you're available then. And he's like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I got to work. I'm moving on the other stuff, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, more likely if there's a movie deal, he'd be interested in that, not a D-plus series. So, yeah, could happen. But right now, it's just a rumor and wishful thinking on McCloy's part, but he's a fan of Nova. You can understand that. And so that's about all there is to that. For now. Falcon.
No, get out of there.
Yeah, I guess so, because all the
Jeez. Oh my God. Oh yeah, the super tips thing. I only need one. Oh shit, it's still doing it. Is that? Oh crap, it's on the other one. Damn it. Get out of there. Alright. It's still showing it. Weird. Where the hell's the other one coming from? Is it like that? Oh, okay. I guess it's that thing. Boy, you lose count, you know? Anyway, all right, that's it for that glorious bit of news that, you couldn't live without. So that's, those superheroes. But what about DC? Oh, well, I covered some of that too. Let me see here. Wallace Lang says hi. Hi, Wallace. Why not get Yul Brynner to play Mr. X? With AI and stuff, you could. You absolutely could, because usually they don't hire dead actors. Well, they wouldn't hire them at all. They would just, prompt it. I suppose it'd be legal issues. I don't know. Uncle Ben Parker is the best Marvel Comics sidekick. Yeah, he really doesn't get in the way and stuff, He just stays in the ground. Wallace says, isn't Nova owned by WGBH in Boston? Well, since public television really isn't an entity anymore. But yeah, you can't own the word Nova. Now, if you're going to produce a show of documentaries about science, and you're going to call it Nova, well, you might have a problem. But if you're going to do a superhero story about some guy with a golden helmet on his head flying around and call him Nova, then you're probably good. Wallace Ling again. Wasn't Hickman the actor who played the role of Dobie Gillis? I thought that was Gilligan. Wallace Lang. Salutes Nodak. Wallace Lane says Marvel's Secret Wars and DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths did essentially the same freaking idiotic manure. I don't think it was manure, but yeah, it's a long time ago, But well, they didn't do it on screen, so yeah. The Rav1 says Douglas. I think that means me. Wallace Ling, your video is locking up, Doug. Did it? Damn it. What the hell? Why would it do that? Well, sorry. Hopefully this next one won't do it, but, well, you never know until you do. Yeah. Hey, you're trying to make a DC shared universe, like Marvel. So who's your big star? Well, Marvel couldn't have their big star until they made a deal with Sony, Spider-Man. DC, on the other hand, doesn't have to do any of that. They own Batman, lock, stock, and barrel. But once again, they find themselves over a barrel because they already have a Batman movie franchise going, so they just can't use him until that's finished, apparently. But hey, you're getting a Clayface movie. That's a Batman movie, isn't it? He's a Batman character. No, it's a Batman movie with no Batman. So apparently no Batman in Clayface. Guns DCU Dark Knight off the table. So a new rumor claims the upcoming Clayface movie will not feature Batman at all, which lines up with what's currently happening behind the scenes with DC Studios. The info comes from Insider Thwipty on X, who posted that the current cut of the film contains no appearance from The Dark Knight. The quote is, "The current cut of Clayface has no Batman cameo of any kind." If accurate, the report may surprise fans. Well, Considering how this is all going, not really. Clayface is one of Batman's most recognizable villains, so a project centered on the character without the Caped Crusader immediately raises questions. However, it's really not that surprising if you have been following the state of Gunn's DCU and WBD. Because it's supposed to be in continuity. He hasn't said it's like, the Joker movie. Which I suppose they could have just done, Instead, no, this is the Clayface that the DCU Batman goes up against. Anyway, the absence of Batman comes down to Gunn not being allowed to use the character. Matt Reeves is currently developing The Batman Part Number 2, with Robert Pattinson returning as the Dark Knight. That film will continue the separate continuity. James Gunn has also said previously that he won't introduce a DCU Batman while Reeves is actively working on his version. Yeah, because your two Batmen would be competing against one another. I mean, now you could not put their films out at the same time. You could do a Batman series on Max, no? Okay. Because of that, a live-action DCU Batman is essentially off limits for now. But that is not the only reason. Gunn's current DC Studios contract reportedly runs through 2027, which also complicates long-term plans for the character. Yeah, I know. So it's like, why bother starting anything? And there are also indications that Warner Bros. Discovery is being cautious with how Batman is used moving forward, which is DC's biggest IP. Yeah, it's true. You know what I mean. Anyway, our sources have previously said the studio is concerned about how James Gunn will handle the character in the DCU. Another sign that Batman is off the table came following our reports that Gunn could be out if Warner Bros. Discovery ends up being sold. Well, it has. Well, okay, the merger isn't final yet, but come on. After those reports surfaced, Gunn appeared in interviews with Bloomberg and various YouTube personalities discussing how he wants a fucking awesome Batman. With the head of a studio, when the head of a studio is publicly asking to use Batman, that says everything about the situation behind the scenes. Even Superman's upset. Another factor is the current direction of the DCU. Sources have previously indicated that Gunn's plans have shifted toward his Superman Family Saga, which Deadline reported exactly as Cosmic News said. That direction prioritizes characters connected to Superman over Batman, or the broader DCU. Evidence of that strategy can already be seen with the upcoming Jimmy Olsen series, which continues expanding the Superman side of the universe. Warner Bros. Discovery has historically treated Batman as one of its most valuable characters. He is, which explains the cautious approach. And rightfully so. The studio already has Matt Reeves' Batman franchise in development, which was saved by the Penguin. I know people like that movie, but I mean, it looked cool, but it was stupid. It just wasn't any good. I mean, if part 2 can be on par with the Penguin series, then you really got something. Anyway, and executives may not want multiple live-action versions competing at the same time. Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what they worry about. So it's just not going to happen. Even if you could do it with compelling stories and whatnot. I thought, well, maybe a streaming series of DCU Batman might work. They just will not let that happen. Because it's two different media, but, well. There are also questions about the future of DC Studios leadership depending on how corporate developments play out. Yeah, that's another problem. It's kind of hard to put much investment and time and effort when it could be all for nothing. For now, if the rumor is accurate, Clayface will be telling its story without the Dark Knight involved. Gets a release date in October 23rd. I mean, you could have had like a silhouette of Batman in the dark, something like that. They can't even do that, I guess. Because even the Titans did that crappy show. And albeit had some pretty good actors in it, but they were wasted, especially the Nightwing actor. But yeah, they mostly had Bruce Wayne in it, but okay, they did have Batman in silhouette and stuff mostly, but he was there. You can't do that, huh? And I mean, look, at the launch of the DCU, they quickly canceled the Superman and Lois show, which was great. But it's like, it's this TV show. And everybody knows it's not the same as the movie, and no, I had to go. So, yeah, the odds of them ever taking the risk with Batman like that, no. So there you are. So that's it. And they, for whatever reason, couldn't come to terms with just building a shared universe out of Matt Reeves' Batman. Wouldn't do that either. So it's all about Matt Reeves. Well, what's his pull? He doesn't own Batman. And his movie didn't do that great. So I don't get that either, really. But so now you've got this, shared universe initiative without your big star. Good luck. Good luck with that. Oh, yeah, I've been through this before. Daredevil wins that. Yeah. If only they could do a Batman show like what Netflix did with Daredevil. Holy crap. But, yeah. And you just can't have nice things, I guess.
No, you can't.
Snyderverse return just got a major boost from China and the Saudis. Really? Well, a new development in the Paramount Warner Bros. Discovery saga suggests the Saudi angle may be getting even stronger. Well, China's Tencent, they're behind WeChat, Riot Games, Epic Games, Fortnite, Clash of Clans, Ubisoft, and TikTok, aren't they? Anyway, is now also back in the mix. Put it all together and it looks like more good news for the Snyderverse. If you say so, I don't know. Bloomberg reported that Tencent Holdings intends to invest several $100 million in Paramount Skydance's acquisition of Warner Brothers. Discovery is a passive financial investor. As a passive financial. Well, yeah, it's only $100 million, not the billions. Tencent had previously stepped away from the deal amid scrutiny over foreign investment concerns. Now China is back. Huh. Well, that alone is pretty interesting, considering relations these days. So, At the same time, Jerry Cardinal of Redbird Capital, who backs Ben Affleck, by the way, did not slam the door shut on the possibility of Middle East investors getting board seats in the combined company, even though the earlier position was that those investors would not give governance rights via Matt Maloney. Some of this is a little too far just to get a Snyderverse back, The Saudis and China both have a history of backing Zack Snyder. Well, McCloy previously went over how Saudi link money was already tied to Paramount's WBD push. Now that influence appears to be growing. Tencent's return also adds another interesting layer because of Zack Snyder's strong track record overseas, especially in China. Something insiders have consistently pointed out. Recall the girl who started the release of the Snyder Cut movement is Chinese? Well, yeah, but she's just one girl. Tencent Picture was among the company production credits on 2017's Wonder Woman, which was based on a story by Zack Snyder and produced by Zack and Deborah Snyder. We've been told Zack directed scenes. Yeah, it certainly looked like it, so Zack Snyder's Justice League was also released on Tencent's streaming platform in China. Yeah, his movies did well in China at the time. It was a different time, of course, but nevertheless, yeah. While nothing has been formally announced yet, yeah, the direction this is all heading is getting harder to ignore. Yeah, that's true. There's some sugar daddies lining up, and they want to put money into it. That can make it more favorable and diminishes the risk for Paramount itself. You know, the Saudis were already said to be involved financially. They're friends with Snyder, and well, some Saudis are. That doesn't mean the entire. You know, I mean, and we've been told they love Zack's style. They even want a Snyderverse Marvel level event to rival the MCU. Again, MCU is not the big kahuna anymore. So, if you're going to do some movies, just make them good, you know? Now there is a public opening for the idea that their influence could grow beyond what was first presented. China's Tencent is back in as well, where again the Snyderverse has been big in the Middle Kingdom. When you add it all up, Saudi backing and Tencent's involvement look like more momentum for the Snyderverse return. Well, Cosmic News has been told it's fully back in play, and Zack is gung-ho about the return. Well, yeah, I guess so. But anyway, like I said, the biggest factor, if Snyder's got some multiple sugar daddies, then yeah, this is all possible. What form or fashion, I don't know, but so yeah, it's not just, are you nuts? That's not, you can't just brush it off completely. But is it really inevitable and all that? Not so sure about that. But it'd be cool to see a completion of the Justice League story and all that. But you know, it's hard to get one's hopes up and all that. I mean, after how many times been teased and only to be dashed and all that. I mean, they screwed over Affleck, screwed over Cavill. I just like, all right, that's enough. It's time to move on. You know. So, but anyway, again, yes, the sugar daddy factor is a very important one, and if that is the case, well, it's their money. And Paramount's like, okay. The only hesitancy would be, could this be further brand damage? And if that's the case, it doesn't matter that an outsider funded the film. It's still the overall damage to an IP that you hoped to exploit for profit. So, well, they'll have to figure that out. And that's why metrics and whatnot, and part of the idea of Snyder constantly teasing mostly images from his DCEU films, more so than his others, which he's also been posting a lot, and some anniversaries for those are coming up and all that type of thing. But nevertheless, big push on DC films. And so it's like, oh, what are the metrics on the response? How many likes does he get? And that sort of thing. Is there enough buzz around to say there's a hunger for this version of DC characters? And if that wins over, and plus you've got sugar daddy money, then it's a go. That's a likely scenario. Hey, you're trying to make a DC share.
No, stop, stupid. There you go. All right, cool, huh? The non-Batman movie should have the gray ghost like the character from Batman, the animated series. Yeah, they're not going to do that. They could have done like a little special thing. That could have been probably an HBO Max deal. But yeah, it's all very scattered and stuff, and they're trying to get something to launch, you know. But the interesting thing about it is that's what Sony is doing with Spider-Man. You know, they had all their Spider-Man movies with no Spider-Man. Well, except for that first Venom movie, all of them pretty much tanked. But Now they've got this series they're doing, and they're putting it on Amazon uh, with the Spider Noir, alternate universe version with Nicolas Cage playing the role, and it's set in that era of the 30s and stuff like that. So yeah, they could have done something similar to that with this other character, but anyway. Hell, I don't know. The Spider Noir might actually take off. I don't know, but at least it's not the Spider-Man, of course, but it's the Spider-Man, and that's more than those other movies could say. So, yeah, so they could do something similar. I always thought maybe they should just go ahead and go back to the past and put all their DC characters, because that's where they came from, was the late 30s and early 40s and all that. Just do that with Batman and Superman and all that, but it's unlikely. So, anyway, how about having Lydia Carter? Do you mean Linda Carter play Wonder Woman again? She's still around, looks good for her age. Yeah, they're not gonna do that. Wallace Lang says, I think they should have Pierce Brosnan reprise his role of Kent Nelson, aka Dr. Fate. Yeah, that'd be cool. He was actually pretty good in the role. He was brief and everything, but yeah. Now they've since retired the character because see the Dr. Fate stories. He finds this helmet in ancient Egypt, so of course it's you can't have a white character playing. Okay, so they replaced it. So all right, they got some Egyptian guy to do it, but then they thought, hey, let's make him a teenager, because they keep chasing Peter Parker, who, for all intents and purposes, hasn't been a teenager in decades, even in his own continuity. That high school business was over within a few issues, and then he was in college and stuff. So yeah, but whatever. They keep chasing that for a lot of characters, and they think that's the key. That's going to, start buzz, and the readership's really going to go for that, and we'll get young kids involved in it and all that sort of stuff. When it's still got to be good, though. It's got to have something of interest to it. And doing this with long established characters and whatnot um, almost never really works. Every now and then, there's one that's so obscure originally anyway, like Mr. Terrific. People don't know the original Mr. Terrific. God, what is that, a moth? Mr. Terrific and all that. And it kind of worked. I mean, he's still around. I don't know about, sales are all that matters. And so sometimes, but again, it's like, oh, he was really obscure, and there's, no one's like, I want the original Mr. Terrific. Nah, no, you don't. But when it's like even a Dr. Fate, it was, part of the Justice Society, and they had a lot of titles for a good long while reflecting that, and All Star Squadron and stuff like that. And then you just drop that. So whatever even more current readership you had is familiar with it, and then you're just like, well, we're going with this, and didn't take off. But I suppose you could argue that the old one wouldn't either, and all that. So whatever. But it was interesting that they even did that, where they cast Pierce Brosnan as Kent Nelson. Yeah. But I suppose, if if it was like such a smash hit, and people were like, oh, wow, you got to, do more of this guy or whatever. It would ultimately be him handing it off to the new guy. Yeah. Because that's what they do. All right. How about reviving Lois and Clark, the new adventures of Superman with Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain? They'll never do that. How about a Green Arrow movie with the actor who played him in the Smallville TV show? Yeah, I don't know what became of that guy. There's been long talk about a Green Arrow movie. There was somebody was, I don't know who, was pushing it. This is a while ago now. And they were going to call it Supermax. Basically, the Green Arrow character, Oliver Queen, goes to prison, and it's a prison for a supervillain. So I guess, I don't know, Green Arrow got accused of a crime and ends up in there, and then it becomes this breakout movie or something like that. And so there's a couple of other of, I guess, like the Green Arrow villains and stuff like that would show up. And but it was it was just, hey, we can do this superhero movie, but all it is this prison break movie, and we'll just steal from the templates of those, but it'll be this comic book character doing it. So of course he'd be in a prison uniform. There'd be no costumes or anything, and it never got off the ground. So basically, it's the CW show, and that's it. I don't know. There was for a time they rumored about it. I don't know if it was seriously being considered, because I didn't see much else as far as like Snyder's Justice League and all that. But there was interest in that. I forget the actor's name, but he was in the Sons of Anarchy. I think he was like the main dude, and considering him to play the character, and then I think he was the guy who was briefly in that Rebel Moon thing that Snyder did for Netflix and all that. So maybe there was something to it, like they met and discussed it, and he could have had a part as Green Arrow. But nothing ever came of it. So that's that. Let's see here. How about a live action and CGI combo movie where Superman meets Bugs Bunny? Well, they really could do it. They own both properties. Well, Paramount owns it now, I guess, or they will. And like Space Jam and all that, Razzmatazz. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, what's up, Doc? And if you really want it, gee, would that even work? Hell, I don't know.
Sometimes things just happen with things you thought assuredly would never happen. It's too bad. It should have happened. It almost did a time or two. But boy, when a window closes, you figure that's it. But we're in a bold new world with new technology now, so I guess anything's possible. So Arnold Schwarzenegger says King Conan is in the works with Christopher McQuarrie. Wow. See? Remember the ending of the movie? Because he does become a king, and his crown rested on a troubled brow. Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger says King Conan is finally moving forward, and it sounds like a big one. Speaking at the Arnold Classic via YouTube, Schwarzenegger said the studio has hired a fantastic writer-director who did Tom Cruise's last 4 movies to write and direct King Conan. Well, that's got to be McQuarrie. It is. Also, Arnold said Fox has been talking to him about returning for Predator, and that a Commando 2 script also exists. I wonder if he gets Alyssa Milano to show up. Yeah, probably with the grandkids and everything. Anyway, it's not Fox anymore because of the deal with Disney, so it would be 20th Century Pictures, I think. But still, yeah, that would be interesting to revisit a past character. Predator films have never really done that.
And there was the one, Topher was in it. And the people were abducted and sent to a planet where the Predator hunted them there. And there was someone made mention of the mission that, Dutch, Schwarzenegger's character, was on. And that was the first rumblings about who these creatures are and that sort of thing. So it was interesting to kind of tie it into that. Maybe some of the other, there's one film I never saw because it sounded god awful. Maybe they made mention of it. I don't know, but it stands to reason he's still around, so you could do a story.
The second one did mention
that character.
A little.
Anyway, according to Schwarzenegger, the new Conan movie would be written to fit where he is now in life instead of pretending he is still the younger version of the character. Oh, well, so no de-aging and stuff. So Arnold said the idea is age-appropriate, but still action-heavy, with Conan as an older king who has grown complacent, gets pushed out, and is forced back into conflict. Schwarzenegger described a movie filled with madness, violence, magic, creatures, and the kind of bigger-scale spectacle modern visual effects can now deliver. That lines up with the old King Conan idea fans have wanted for years, which would bring Arnold back to the sword and sorcery franchise in a sequel built around an older, battle-worn Conan. Well, Arnold didn't name him in the clip. His description points to Christopher McQuarrie. McQuarrie has been one of Tom Cruise's key collaborators for years. He wrote and directed Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and The Final Reckoning. And he also worked on Top Gun Maverick.
That's a lot of reckoning.
That makes him an interesting choice if the studio wants to turn King Conan into something much bigger than a nostalgia play. If Schwarzenegger's comments are accurate, that is a major name to attach to Conan. Schwarzenegger made it sound like Conan is only part of a larger push. He said Fox, 20th Century Pictures, has come to him about Predator, talking about doing Commando 2, and generally seems interested in reviving multiple Arnold franchises. That is a pretty wild development considering how many of those properties have been dormant or have struggled to find the right direction without him. Whether all of them happen is another story, but Arnold clearly believes momentum is building. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little late, Boy, the real problem, and who knows, maybe the King Conan movie, had it been done way back when, some of the ideas they had weren't that great. Later on, they had another one that, I don't know. But there's a lot of King Conan stories from the comics and stuff that are pretty good. It would have been really cool for that era. But at the time when Arnold ran for governor, see, that was a mistake. I know he always wanted to get into politics and do something, so he finally did it. He thought, oh, here's something. My movie career life is behind me. I'm going to do this. And then, oh, jeez. Because of those years, had he been available to do a King Conan film, that would have been perfect, I think. And at that age, he still could have done it. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And the idea, yes, with AI and, de-aging CGI stuff, to some amount, you could do it even now. But it doesn't want to do that. He's just going to be as he is at the end of his reign, I suppose. And he's told you basically what the premise would be. He's got to take back his kingdom from some nasty villains, I'm sure. But anyway, really, I thought the window closed there when he ran for governor and won. So it's unfortunate. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have a good movie there. As for Commando 2, I don't know. But it's kind of the same thing. He's got to get back in action because, And then even the Predator thing. Well, he's got to get back in action because, So, all right, yeah, whatever. But we'll have to see. But the King Conan one, especially when you had the tease, which it's all a part of the lore of Conan. He eventually becomes a king. So
they stuck it in there, but it was always like, huh, that would make an interesting film, but it just didn't happen. So, all right, we'll see what happens here. Guy Ritchie's In the Gray trailer released, starring Henry Cavill. Oh yeah, look, there he is, along with Jake Gyllenhaal and Isa Gonzalez. It's an action movie. The official trailer for In the Gray has been released, giving fans their first real look at the new action thriller starring Henry Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Isa Gonzalez. See, I was right. Well, it's written and directed by Guy Ritchie and hits theaters. It hits them smack in the face on May 15th. The newly released footage highlights a globe-spanning mission involving elite covert operatives tasked with recovering billions that have been stolen by a ruthless despot. See? It's Jake and Henry. They're covert operatives. According to the official synopsis, In the Gray follows a covert team of elite operatives who operate in the shadows across the globe. They are just as comfortable wielding influence and power as they are using automatic weapons and explosives. Well, those are probably the objects of the influence and power. When a brutal tyrant steals $1 billion fortune, the team is sent in to steal it back. What begins as a dangerous heist quickly escalates into something far bigger, spiraling into a full-scale battle involving strategy, deception, and survival. The trailer teases large-scale action sequences, gun battles, and the tactical teamwork between Cavill and Gyllenhaal's characters as they attempt to complete what is described as a suicide mission. Henry Cavill and Jake Gyllenhaal headline the movie as members of the covert team carrying out the mission. Isa Gonzalez plays a key role in the operation as the story folds. Well, she's basically the boss and they're the muscle. That's kind of what's presented there, The film also stars Rosamund Pike, adding another major name to the cast of Ritchie's latest action thriller. So it shows up May 15th and suggests audiences can expect a mix of heist storytelling and explosive action as Cavill and Gyllenhaal take on a mission that quickly turns into all-out war. Yeah, I guess so. But I'm not all that impressed with the trailer. The action sequences look good and everything. The humor in it just kind of fell flat. But hopefully there's more to it than that. It is another opportunity. It's the closest thing you'll get to Henry Cavill possibly being in a Bond-like story. The best you can do for that is The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which is a movie that bombed, but that movie was great. If this thing's on par with that, well, then I'm all for it. It's too bad he's not going to get the nod for Bond, But then again, maybe that's for the best since it's in the hands of Amazon, and, well, I don't know. But anyway, look, trailers, sometimes they're not that accurate, and sometimes they do damage to a property. They can be awful, and the movie's actually really good. It's going to happen. Sometimes the trailer is, holy crap, it's awesome, and then the movie's crap. So you just never really know. It's tough, in this case, I don't know. I'm not hating the movie just because of the trailer. It might be fun, but I'm left with, I don't know. So there we go. In the Gray. That's kind of olive green type. She's wearing a white shirt and her pants kind of tan. There's no gray in here. That's not what it means. Well, go check out the trailer for yourself and see what you think. And we'll see what happens with In the Gray. Oh yeah, Snyderverse return. Just got a
Wait a minute. Is that? Thought I already did that one. Huh. Oh, it's still doing this. I think. No, I did that one.
Boost from. Yeah, that's true. There's into the brand's baggy, ripped campaign.
Right. You already did the
There's a
Snyderverse
genuine
stuff.
feeling of
Yeah,
Nifty.
it's supposed to be Lord of the
And,
Rings and stuff.
Suggests audiences can expect a mix of. China's 10 Cent is back in as well, where again the Snyderverse has been big in the Middle Kingdom. Momentum to the growing list of original cast members expected to appear in the new Lord of the Rings
All right, we'll go with
movie.
that, dude.
Wood spoke about the project.
Oh my God. If there's a formerly lost script for George Reeves' Superman called Superman and the Invisible Planet, doing it all in CGI. Well, more like AI, you know. Wallace Lang, if they choose to make a King Conan movie, it might have Conan O'Brien being crowned or clowned. Yeah, I don't think so. Frank Furt says, hey, Doug, I want to apologize about something I said a week or so ago here. Frank says, there's zero evidence that Kumiya ever had relations with a 13-year-old. The evidence of him messaging them shouldn't be compared to actually having actual relations with my father. Okay. And now back to the program, which skipped. I don't know what the hell that Snyder thing, that was in the previous thing. Man, I'm all kinds of messed up. Did I have a stroke or something? It could be. Holy crap. Oh my God, I didn't realize it was this late. Jeez. Okay, I gotta hurry up and wrap this up. I thought I was an hour ahead of time, but no, it's not because of daylight saving. Oh, jeez, I guess I did. Something's wrong. Oh man, it was a rough weekend at work, so maybe that's. Let's get there's two more, and then we'll call it a night.
About the project in a new interview with the Times UK. I don't know, Frodo. Oh, come on. When asked directly about appearing in The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, Wood smiled and acknowledged the rumors. It hasn't been officially announced, but at a convention last August, Ian sort of let the cat out of the bag, Wood said, referring to Ian McKellen confirming he will return as Gandalf. Well, yeah. So there's a good chance I'm not able to officially say anything until it's announced, but I will say I'm thrilled with the prospect of another film. All right, so he's in it. Wood added that returning to Middle-earth could make fans protective of the franchise. But he sounds excited about the direction of the new Lord of the Rings story. Yeah, there's also, what work have you been involved in since, and that kind of thing. Everyone gets a little protective and hopes it retains its level of integrity. But this story is fun and thrilling. There is a genuine feeling of getting the band back together. I'm just excited. Well, it's protective because the story's told. We know what becomes of Frodo, and everybody else, really. So, even Gollum. So, But they're going to do the story and that sort of thing. You're in, The Hobbit. Remember that? And they tried to turn that into a trilogy when it didn't have the material for a trilogy. And oh, good Lord! Now it didn't bother me as much. Other people were really angry about The Hobbit. You're in danger of doing the same thing here. And this is going to cost some money, Well, anyway, the actor also addressed McKell's previous comments that he wouldn't want anyone else playing Gandalf. Yeah, I guess so, but Gandalf's story has been told. Wood agreed with the sentiment when it comes to Frodo. I totally get that. I certainly wouldn't want anybody else to play Frodo either, as long as I'm alive and able, he said. You know, there is another Gandalf in Rings of... Yeah. I know, it doesn't count. Wood added that he's also looking forward to seeing the characters return from the perspective of a fan. When you are in the cinema and you see the hat turn around and it's Gandalf, I'm also a fan and excited to see how it all comes together. We'll go watch the movies. They've already been made. Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum is directed by Andy Serkis, who also returns as Gollum. Boy, double duty there. Warner Brothers has set a December 17th, 2027 release date for the film. Production is expected to start this July in New Zealand. Ian McKellen recently confirmed he will return as Gandalf and joked that he will once again put on the wizard's hat, beard, eyebrows, and gloves. Well, the story takes place after Bilbo's birthday party and before the events at the mines of Moria, focusing on Gollum's role during that period. So, Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Boyens, the creative team behind the original trilogy, are producing the new Lord of the Rings film. Say, who's the best Star Wars hero? Well, the main one, of course, is Luke Skywalker. The star of Star Wars is Darth Vader. But Luke is the hero of Star Wars. Yeah. Who's the hero of Lord of the Rings? Well, I guess it was Sam, because Frodo fell, you know, and then stumble, fall, and Gollum bit off his finger to get the ring and then falls off the edge. So, I don't know, I guess an accident's the real hero of Lord of the Rings. But anyway, you know, the ring, it was powerful. It was, you know, the hobbits did the best they could, but even they were, you know, weak to it. It's just the way it goes. But Sam never succumbed to it, so you got that. You got that. Dakota Johnson strips down for Calvin Klein in new spring 2026 campaign. Oh, well, that's nice. That's very nice. From Madam Web to Calvin Klein model. See, she's going to be fine. So fine. Dakota Johnson is the new face of Calvin Klein's spring 2026 campaign, marking her debut for the brand as part of a push focused on denim and underwear. Calvin Klein launched the campaign and described it as a stripped down, less is more take on its signature style. Well, let's take a look at the image. Oh, yeah.
I said
there we go. Look, if you're not selling books, what's it doing there? You know, anyway, there, yeah, that's it's nice. The new images feature Dakota Johnson in a series of minimal looks, including baggy jeans, denim outerwear, and Calvin Klein underwear. The brand says the campaign highlights its new denim fits, along with ultralight and icon cotton modal underwear with the perfectly fit ultralight bra. It's also part of the spring 2026 push. So there's the jeans. Well, they don't look all that baggy to me. They look nice and tight. Yes, they hug every curve. Also, they're not selling shirts, which I'm fine with. According to Calvin Klein, the campaign includes the archive high-rise slim jean. Oh, I guess that's the slim jean, which it calls a defining 90s silhouette, along with the baggy jean and the relaxed trucker. Yeah, there's no truckers here. The company says the concept centers on comfort, confidence, and sensuality, with the creative following Johnson through a relaxed day at home. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's great. Yeah. Calvin Klein says the campaign was directed and photographed by Gordon von Steiner. Well, good for him, you know. He got to be in the room with her when she was relaxing, pantsless. Yeah. The company also said the images and video were designed to balance subtle sensuality with cheeky humor. Yeah. Yeah. While keeping the focus on the new collection. Huh? What collection? The sofa? The bra. Oh, right. Yeah. There's the baggy jeans. Yeah. I think I like the earlier ones better. In a statement released with the campaign, Johnson said Calvin Klein jeans and underwear have a timeless quality, and that the campaign celebrates being comfortable, free, and sexy on your own terms. In a separate interview with Elle, Johnson said the laid-back sensuality of the shoot matched where she is in her life right now, and added that she is especially into the brand's baggy, ripped jeans. Oh, come on, Dakota. Well, as long as you keep the shirt off, I guess, you get used to this. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's nice. The collection. Oh, there's the jeans. And I guess the panties are Calvin. Yeah. Anyway, Calvin Klein said the spring 2026 campaign launched globally on March 9th across its retail channels, website, social platforms, and out-of-home placements. The brand's campaign page also says Johnson is wearing new denim and underwear this spring. Cool. Well, the good news is she's actually a woman, and she's not morbidly obese. And, well, that's the good news. It's really great. She knows how to wear a bra and those shoes very well, with nothing else. So, yeah, I guess it'll sell bras and jeans. I don't know, but he got some nice pictures out of the deal. That's what matters. To me, anyway. Yep. Well, all right, then. There you go. Who's the best superhero? Well, Superman. He's, without him, there's no DC superhero. Okay. I'm right. And I'm right about these images. See, it's nice. Sexy women are they're nice. I feel better already. And you should too. All right. That concludes your review of entertainment, But, sexy women are nice. Yeah. They really make the world, more fun, pleasant, and stuff. Now, it can all go south and everything, you understand, but good Lord. That's nice. A better choice for advertising and stuff. They experimented with, other options, and oh boy, it just didn't work. So, good for Dakota, and apologies for mispronouncing the name. I didn't even, it's like, wait. Jeez. Yeah.
All right, so there we go. We're all done. We're all caught up. Everything's great. The other stories, I don't know. Warner Brothers is nervous the Supergirl movie will bomb. They should be. This Tom Brevoort guy, I don't know, thinks it's a good idea to piss off the fans. Sure. Oh, yeah, and the guy who played the Sentry says he has a pivotal moment in Doomsday. So there you go. We're all caught up. It's great. Apologies to Pat Dixon. I didn't realize it was later than it is. Well, too late now. And of course, started off, for whatever reason, OBS couldn't project sound through EV Mux tonight. Why? I don't know. It worked last time. Nothing's different. Damn it. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens next. Wallace Lang says, I believe that the American Eagle brand is doing well with Sydney Sweeney. I do like the imageries. He says hi to Frank. Wallace Lang says Superman and Batman should be in a world's finest movie. Well, that's what they did, except they just, for some dumbass reason, didn't call it World's Finest. Wallace Lang, I think that Sydney Sweeney could play DC's Black Canary. Yeah, probably, but I'd much rather her play Power Girl, you know. She looks like she was born to do it. All right, there you go. We're all caught up. Yeah, no super tips. All right, so that's a wrap on that one. Hey, I did some pictures. That's something, yeah. And hopefully I'll be better next time than this. And hopefully the damn thing will work. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure something else out. I don't know. Anyway, where the hell is my... You see, things just get more complicated as you go. And it shouldn't. It's very simple. It's all simple. Until it isn't. Anyway, have a good rest of your night. Head over to P. Dixon and check out Pat Dixon's show. I'm sure everybody's already there anyway. So the plan is for me to be on Pop Culture Breakdown tomorrow night. The movie will be City Slickers. As for what will be discussed, I'm not sure. I did catch quite a bit of One Piece, and it's good. So probably be discussing that too. I'm guessing. I don't know. I hadn't heard anything yet. So there you go. Tune in tomorrow if I'm able to be conscious at the allotted time. What's this? Porky Pig. That's awful. That's right. That is Porky's line. You know, they don't make actors like that anymore. It's sad, but what are you going to do? Have a good night, everybody.
Vulture.